chuckles. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Now, speaking of chemistry, let's dive into a world where love meets the periodic table. Open the curtains on our first act. Picture a boy, let's call him Helium, because he's lighthearted, and a girl, Oxygen, because she's a breath of fresh air. Now, Helium has no idea how to express his feelings to Oxygen. He decides to use the universal language of science. He walks up to her, clears his throat, and says, "Hey, Oxygen, do you have 11 protons because you're sodium fine?" Cut to our second act. Oxygen, never the one to be outdone, decides to respond in the same vein. She looks at Helium, bats her eyelashes, and says, "Oh, Helium, are you made of copper and tellurium? Because you are cute." In the third act, Helium and Oxygen are dating. They're at a fancy restaurant, and Helium whispers to Oxygen, "You know, I've got my eye on you." Oxygen laughs and responds, "Helium, stop being so noble. You're making me blush." Fast forward to the next scene. They're sitting on a park bench, watching the sunset. Helium looks at Oxygen and says, "You know, I've always found you electrifying." Oxygen, with a playful smile, responds, "Oh, Helium, you're such a positive ion." Now the final act. They're old, sitting on the same park bench. Helium looks at Oxygen and says, "You know, I think we've got great chemistry." Oxygen, with a sparkle in her eyes, responds, "Oh, Helium, you've always known how to catalyze my heart." And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up our love story between two elements. A tale where the chemistry was so real, it could have been on the periodic table. A tale where the bond was so strong, it could have been covalent. A tale so electrifying, it could have powered a city. But above all, a tale that showed us that love, much like chemistry, is all about the right reactions. So the next time you're struggling to express your feelings, remember our friends Helium and Oxygen. Who knew that the language of love could be found in the periodic table? But be warned, results may vary. A bit of chemistry humor there, folks. After all, love is no exact science.